Thank you guys for tuning in to another segment of the Sit Down with Malik, Wright, live from the NFL Combine here in Indy. Daniel, there is a conversation among some Bengals fans and some NFL people, and they're wondering what are the chances of Jay Jetta's Justin Jefferson becoming a member of the Cincinnati Bengals? Obviously, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson played together at LSU, put together one of the most impressive college football seasons together, won the national championship. And now it doesn't seem like him and the Minnesota Vikings are, close to a contract, right? For whatever reason that might be. We've kind of talked about it and alluded to it in previous shows in the past. But let's discuss the chances of that happening. Now, before I even let you
Yeah.
go in, like before you start, I do believe at some point in their careers, this trio might play together. I believe that wholeheartedly because I think that in a league in which players are trying to take back the power and become very similar to the NBA, right? Determining where they play. And we've seen it happen. We've seen the likes of OBJ force his way out of places that he was at to go play with Jarvis Landry. We've
Yep.
seen Antonio Brown force a trade. We've seen Antonio Brown force his way to Tom Brady. We've seen it happen. And it feels like as we progress as a football league, it seems like we're getting closer and closer to players having more control, having more say about where they land. Right? There's been reports and speculations that Justin Jefferson is like, "Hey, I won't be willing to sign until I know what the future is at the quarterback position." There's been reports about the Vikings unwilling to be committed because of the contract structure. Who knows what is real and how much is posturing? But I guess the question for you, Daniel, is how likely do you think Justin Jefferson in the Cincinnati Bengals may happen?
So the term likely, I don't know if it's super likely, but
Mhm.
there is a chance, right? And there's always a chance. And when we, scrape it down, you look at the Minnesota Vikings, the one thing that is for sure is there is uncertainty with Justin Jefferson. The
Mhm.
Minnesota Vikings, they have not come to a contract, agreement, and there is uncertainty, right? You look at the previous history of the
Mhm.
Vikings, they haven't had a wide receiver there. They've had many times where they traded or let go of a wide receiver, a star wide receiver
Mhm.
be that.
And further, just I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
They have not treated their receivers, I would say, with the most respect. Randy Moss, he was even quoted at one point, and this is us going back, saying he felt like he was traded out of Minnesota because he wanted to win too much. He cared about winning too much. Adam Thielen gave them productive years and just fell by the wayside. And then I don't know. I read the tea leaves, and it's like the Minnesota Vikings always like to brace themselves and prepare for the worst outcome. So the worst outcome is, hey, if we lose Justin Jefferson, it's all right. We drafted a kid in Jordan Addison who can take those snaps, take those reps. So that's my thoughts.
And they've prepared themselves, right? And at the end of the day, the Minnesota Vikings, if they don't go with Justin Jefferson, they're going to look at it and say, hey, we've got a great group
Hmm.
of talent around him. So switching over to the Bengals, I think there's a chance.
Hmm.
And people can say, oh, well, they don't have the money. They don't have this. NFL teams can make it work. And
Hmm.
let's look at a potential trade would be someone like a T. Higgins, would be someone, multiple first or second round, maybe a second and a third. But at the end of the day, I don't think you're going to have to give up a first round pick for Justin Jefferson.
Well, I think okay. Let's start with the T discourse. I think that T Higgins is a Bengal for
Yes.
the foreseeable future,
Yes.
right? I do believe they'll try to work out a deal and they'll try to make something happen. But the at the end of the day, I don't believe that T would be included in any type of acquisition. I see a situation in which T is dealing, obviously getting franchise
Yep.
tagged. The Bengals are all in on this year trying to win a Super Bowl, right? But Justin Jefferson's on a fifth-year option with the Minnesota Vikings for this upcoming year. So it's like, are the roads coming together at some point that when T moves on to, finally cash in on that big deal that he's hoping
Yep.
to cash in? If it's not with Cincinnati, does it make sense to go after Justin Jefferson? Especially if you think about it, next year, in all likelihood, even though I think it would behoove the Cincinnati Bengals to try and work out an extension with a guy in Jamar Chase now, it's not smart for Jamar Chase because he can truly cash in and be the highest paid wide receiver in the league. So um, at that point, you got to wonder, does it make sense, right? For the does it make sense for the Bengals? Does it make sense for Justin Jefferson? Are the stars aligning for when that happens? Listen to me. I think it could happen, but I don't think it happens anytime soon. I think it happens much later down the road. Probably when these guys are maybe a little bit past their prime from the receiving standpoint. It's a cool story to talk about. It's a
Yep.
cool story to mesmerize about, because you think about the success that these guys had with each other, and I think that that's the new fun thing to do in the league, right? To pair your old wide receiver or old wide receiving core together with your old quarterback and see if they can sort of rekindle that same magic that they experienced together in college. But to me, I think that both of these guys, meaning Chase, Jefferson, have done an exceptional job as, proving that they're two of the elite wide receiver talents in the National Football League. And I think, although it's a pipe dream, although it might be cool to happen on Madden, I'm not
Yep.
sure if it's realistic to ask both of these guys who are elite at their position group to take pay cuts to try to play together.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. This year, it's not likely they franchise tag T Higgins. If they do it this year, they're gonna have it. You would have to move T Higgins. That's
Mhm,
not gonna happen this year. So in that sense, it is a pipe dream for
mhm,
this year. But I agree with you. I think down the road,
mhm.
it's just hard to look at paying those guys both 60
Yeah.
million at
I mean,
once.
it would 100% have to be a pay cut,
Yeah.
right? But I definitely think it's something to talk about. I've been getting a lot of questions regarding it, so I feel like I don't know. I feel like it'll be interesting to see what happens.
If Duke Tobin and the Bengals want to make it happen, they could make it happen.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. I think I hate the term cap is a myth, but I definitely think that we've seen superstars come together, but it is going to take people putting egos aside. It's going to take people probably taking less of less of pay, obviously, to make that a reality. And I just don't know if asking both of those guys who've played great for their first 4 seasons in the National Football League, hey, you got opportunity to have life changing money and change your family's life and generational wealth. Take a pay cut just to play with your buddy. I just don't
yep.
know if that's realistic. But hey, curious to hear what you guys think in the comment section. If you like more video content like this, give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live or upload content here from the NFL Scouting Combine.